Giratina with Dragon Breath has a very good matchup against Obstagoon. But they bring in the Snorlax here. Snorlax does not like seeing Giratina with Dragon Breath. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Ox here with another video. If you're new to the channel, we do upload Pokemon Go content mostly related to PvP, so please consider subscribing to the channel if that is of interest to you. And if you're a returning subscriber like Brandon Jones, thank you for the support. In today's video, we are taking a look at the Open Ultra League, and this time we are featuring a team with Dragon Breath Giratina. Now, I know a lot of people in my comments section always ask me, can I run Dragon Breath on my Giratina when I'm running the double ice line? For the double ice line, no, I would not recommend running Dragon Breath. You need the Shadow Claw for the Steels and the Cresselia matchup. However, I decided to build a team using Dragon Breath Giratina for this video to give you an idea of how it performs. And obviously, the main thing that I like about it is that it can beat Snorlax and Obstagoon, which typically will wall it. Now, I have paired up with Escavalier in the lead, and of course, my trusty Articuno as always. But this Escavalier is pretty interesting because I'm running in the lead with Acid Spray. So we got two pretty unique movesets for this video. Most people will run Mega Horn on the Escavalier. I like Acid Spray. Well, I don't even know if I like it. I wanted to try it out because I do like the idea of debuffing defense and whatnot. So thought debuffing with Acid Spray plus Dragon Breath could be a pretty interesting thing to witness. So for this video, we're going to be taking a look at those two movesets. Obviously, not having Mega Horn will make the Cresselia matchup a lot worse, but we'll get through it. If you guys enjoy these types of videos, please smash that like button. It really helps the channel grow. And without any further ado, let's jump into the first battle right now. So you guys may have already seen, first matchup here is going to be against Zyonik, an absolute legend in the PvP YouTube scene. Great battler, and obviously a privilege to be able to battle a player of this caliber. So huge shout out to Zyonik. He's leading Obstagoon, switches out into the Ho-Oh here, so quite the spice pick. And we're going to bring out the Dragon Breath Giratina. Now, this is a very good matchup for Giratina, of course. So the Ho-Oh here, going to farm up a lot of energy and throw likely an Earthquake here. Probably don't want to debuff with the Brave Bird just yet. And I'm going to let the first one go through because obviously it's not going to knock me out. So I'm okay taking the first one. But here, you could see the second one, I'm probably going to be forced to shield because Brave Bird probably would KO from that range. So I don't want to throw the game and lose switch. So we do take the one shield disadvantage, however we do maintain switch, and the Obstagoon comes in. Now we were able to farm down that Ho-Oh fortunately, so we have about 2 Dragon Claws more or less ready here, and you can see this matchup is actually quite good for Giratina. Dragon Breath really does chunk away, and because he can't farm us down, we're in a pretty good situation here because he's forced to throw energy, and because Dragon Breath is actually doing so much damage, it forces him to sort of throw energy probably a lot sooner than he would like to. So this is really good for us. Night Slash is going to KO the Giratina, and at this point I'm going to come in with the Escavalier. Now he's going to throw a move here, hoping it's not something like a Hyper Beam and just a Night Slash, which it is, so that's really good. He farms up a little bit more and then switches out into Cresselia. So at this point, I'm going to fake it till I make it, act like it's a Mega Horn because he has 2 shields. Mega Horn will hurt. Totally expect the shield to come up here. And there's no real reason for me to stay in if I don't have Mega Horn. So I do get the shield there, and we drop the defense. Now I bring in the Articuno. Articuno has a pretty good matchup against Cresselia in the 1 and 2 shields. And since we both have a shield left, this looks like a pretty good spot, especially after the defense drop on that Cresselia. And now its attack's also being dropped, so this Cresselia is being nerfed to the extreme here. And we're going to take this Moonblast most likely, could be Future Sight, but it's just a Moonblast, and go for the Icy Wind here. So I think the Obstagoon might have some energy in the back. I don't know if it has a move ready, but we do get the final shield here, and he is farming up a lot of energy, going to switch on to Obstagoon, so I'm just going to get rid of this immediately. Don't want to take a move here, and I'm going to force the Obstagoon to go down, and this forces the Cresselia to come in and have to throw energy at the Articuno because it has a lot of energy right now, it looks like. I'm not going to shield this up because he probably has 2 ready, so that knocks out the Articuno. Now I bring in the Escavalier. It's pretty safe to just save the final shield for Escavalier here, get to the drill run, and that will be enough to knock out the Cresselia. If he doesn't have Future Sight, obviously Moonblast would not KO either, but don't want to take any chances here against Zyonik. Just going to go for the drill run, shield it up, and we are going to take this game. So huge shout out to Zyonik. Pretty sure everybody here already knows who he is, but if you don't, definitely go check him out. One of the best content creators on YouTube. YellowItsMee here in the next matchup. Probably my favorite name in Go Battle League, and we see an Escavalier mirror match here. Now this is a pretty interesting match because obviously you could go for the Acid Spray, lower the defense, then go for counters, but I go for the Drill Run instead. We get the shield, but you may have noticed the opponent did sneak in an extra counter when I threw the Drill Run, so at that point I realized I'm going to lose this match, so I actually decided to let the Escavalier go down here, not shielding that up. And yes, I do lose switch, but I take a shield advantage, and it was pretty pointless to try and win that because they were going to win anyways with the extra counter. But they bring in the Snorlax here, and you could see Snorlax does not like seeing Giratina with Dragon Breath, and this is one of the reasons why you like to have Dragon Breath on Giratina, of course. When you switch out, a lot of times they will instantly switch into their Snorlax thinking it's Shadow Claw. In this case, it is not Shadow Claw, and it looks like they are running Body Slam Superpower, so they have no moves that are really doing any damage to Giratina here. This is a very solid situation to be in. Obviously, Lick does hurt, but you can see Dragon Breath is totally outpacing it here in terms of damage. And the Cresselia, I believe, is coming here, so I actually go for the Dragon Claw. Obviously a mistake here. Wasn't expecting this to come in, and I definitely could have got to the Shadow Sneak, but it is what it is. I am able to get to a second Shadow Sneak anyways, and I believe we are still ahead on shields by 1, so this is a really good spot to be in. I'm going to force this Cresselia to throw its energy here at this point. Articuno has a pretty good matchup against both Cresselia and Escavalier, especially with 2 shields, so I was feeling very confident just saving the 2 shields for Articuno at this point. Now the Cresselia going to throw a move here. Did show Grass already, so I'm not expecting it to have Future Sight, so I let that first one go through. Worst thing that could happen here would be for my attack to drop from the Moonblast, because I can't switch out now to reset that debuff, but you can see here we're looking pretty good in the moment. And at this point, I think I am going to shield the Moonblast because I don't want to get too low for the Escavalier. They do bait me with Grass now, which is not good, and the Escavalier comes back in. I am going to throw the Icy Wind here immediately because I don't want to take any damage from the charge moves. And at this point, in case it's an Acid Spray, I have to let the first one go through. Mega Horn will not KO, but if it's an Acid Spray and they bait me and then they land the move after, I could be in big trouble. So I let the first one go through, going to shield the second one here as a result. It's a Drill Run, and I'm going to get to this Icy Wind. Should be enough to knock out the Escavalier. Now it's going to be a race between the Articuno and the Cresselia. Who could farm down first? They do not have energy for a move. Ice Shard wins in this case. We take that battle in a very close match. Yamari U0325 here. Going to be an Umbreon, XL Umbreon here into Escavalier. And this one doesn't look like it's maxed out all the way, but it's still a very chunky Umbreon. But this is a good matchup for Escavalier, of course, so I'm just going to stay in here. Not going to shield up the first foul play. And will I go for Acid Spray or will I go for Drill Run? Looks like I'm just going to go straight for the Drill Run here. Obviously, Mega Horn would hurt, so let's see if they choose to shield. They do not. They let that go through, and they switch out into Swampert. So at this point, going to go for the Acid Spray. Will I get a shield here? They do not shield, so this is a very brave Swampert. Bring in the Giratina now with that Dragon Breath damage. Now remember, this Swampert did just get its defense debuffed, so this is really going to chunk away with Dragon Breath here. We do shield up that Earthquake, and I'm just going to spam the Dragon Claws. The thing about Giratina Dragon Breath is that it's just does so much raw damage. Look at that, fast move damage. They CMP here. At this point, I could have shielded the Earthquake, but I know that the Umbreon's going to come back in, so there really isn't a reason to at this point. It was CMP tie, so I'm not clicking any bubbles here. Want to get some extra farm on this Swampert, and we are able to get one more Dragon Breath in there. Now, the Umbreon's likely going to come in, and I'm going to stay in here with my Giratina, throw a Dragon Claw. You can make the argument I could switch out into the Articuno or even the Escavalier, but I'm pretty happy about the situation I'm in right now, and I'm just going to let the Giratina go down. I think Escavalier and Articuno work really well together and should be able to counter whatever is in the back. So we see Escavalier come back in. Foul Play is going to come through. I kind of don't want to give up my last shield, and I know Foul Play won't KO, so I let this go through even though it's very close. And they bring in Cresselia. Now I didn't think I would get to the Acid Spray, so I just switched out immediately into Articuno. Also very important not to desync our switch timers too much, because I do expect them to switch out into the Umbreon at some point. So I just decided to go immediately into the Articuno here, throwing the Icy Winds, and I am down a shield at this point, so it's still a winnable matchup because Articuno does win in the one shield, and I did shield up the first Moonblast, so I'm feeling okay. Gonna go for the Icy Wind here. Cresselia's gonna let that go through. Would expect them at some point to switch out into the Umbreon. They're probably gonna save their energy without throwing in order to reset the debuff. Let's see how they play it out. Does look like that's what they're doing. They bring out the Umbreon. I'm instantly going to bring in the Escavalier to get rid of that Umbreon before it could get a move. And the Cresselia comes back in. Did reset its debuff, but even Future Sight will not KO here. And the Ice Shard did go through, so they're going to be KO'd after the animation. We win that game, the opponent saving their shield for next season. Random 0 here in the next matchup. And we're going to be leading Escavalier into Lapras. Oh no, into Obstagoon. I thought he would... I battled him earlier, he had Lapras. Okay, so there's the Lapras. And in this situation, obviously, I can't really switch out of this matchup because Escavalier is my only counter for Lapras. So I'm kind of happy he brought in the Lapras now, especially because I have Giratina with Dragon Breath for the Obstagoon. So I'm just going for the Acid Spray here. No shield, which is a bit unfortunate, which means I'm definitely going to have to shield up the Surf here. But after shielding this, I should be able to farm down with counter at this point. So we're going to have a lot of energy, and it's not the worst situation to be in. We're going to see what his third Pokemon is at this point. And he's going to bring in the Togekiss. So at this point, obviously, Acid Spray is the move that's going to be doing the most damage. And it doesn't really do much, but you can see it is lowering the defense. Lowering the defense doesn't really matter too much because he's going to switch out as soon as I bring in my Articuno here. But I have to get farmed down here because I can't afford to switch out to my Articuno, because I can't really have the Giratina aligned to the Togekiss in the end game, and he's ahead on shield, so it'd be a bit too risky. And here comes Obstagoon. So Giratina gonna come in here. Giratina with Dragon Breath has a very good matchup against Obstagoon, so I'm just going for the Dragon Claws here. The Togekiss in the back obviously isn't really going to be using those shields, so it makes sense for the opponent to be burning them here with the Obstagoon. And I'm actually going to choose to let this go through here. Night Slash comes through and they get the attack boost, of course. Always seems to happen, but this is still a winnable situation. You know, one attack boost shouldn't really sway the game too much. We do see the second shield come up. At this point, I had a decision to make. Either shield this and get off a bit more damage, or save the shield for Articuno. I decided I was going to save the shield for Articuno instead, and my plan here was to go for Icy Wind and then charge up enough energy for a second Icy Wind on the Togekiss. But again, a second attack boost, like what is going on? So here's where I make my mistake. I should not be going for Excellent here. I should have undercharged a little bit so that I could get enough energy to get a lead on this Togekiss, because look at what I did to myself now with CMP tie. So a huge mistake there, as you see, by me not undercharging that Icy Wind. Wasn't understanding the situation. Was probably a little bit frustrated over the double boost, but you know, that brings me to another thing here. I know a lot of you might get infuriated by losing games where you see the opponent get double boosts on you and it flips the game, but the reality is, just stay calm, don't let it affect you, don't tilt over it, because these things happen. They're part of GBL. Same thing as like a critical hit in the main series games, and you just gotta move on. Understand, sometimes you win games like that, sometimes you lose games like that. At the end of the day, it is what it is. Don't let it get to you. Just stay focused. Move on to the next game. So King Rayquaza here, 100 in the next battle, and we got Escavalier into Lapras. So here's the Lapras lead I was thinking about. And of course, very good lead for Escavalier, but usually you are going to have to burn a shield here because these Surfs do still hurt. I'm going for the Drill Run this time, not going for the Acid Spray, but let it go through. Honestly, it really doesn't flip too much because I'm still going to have to go for the shield at some point. They have built up for back-to-back here, so I'm not the first one to go through. And you can see I actually sneaked in an extra move there in between the Surfs. So that was pretty nice, but I wasn't able to get to Drill Run, so I'm forced to burn the shield there. They switch on to Giratina, and you know me, the Iceman loves to see a Giratina switch lock itself into a match because Articuno is going to come in. So at this point, it is a Dragon Breath Giratina, but still doesn't really change much. I'm still going to be able to win this match in all shields, and we are going to go for the Icy Wind debuff. At this point, because I already wasted one shield on the Escavalier, I don't really want to waste the second one on the Articuno, so I'm just going to go for these 0 shields here and look to farm down at this point, get some energy for Icy Wind. We are going to have to eat one more Dragon Claw, but we will survive this. This is just understanding the matchups with Articuno and farm down completely. They bring in the Lapras. That was a very quick bring in there, trying to catch me off guard. Going to throw this Ancient Power though, which will knock out the Lapras, and Cresselia comes in. Unable to get to the Icy Wind, which would have been amazing because obviously the Cresselia can't switch out now to reset the debuff. But we do get off this Acid Spray, which is going to lower the defense, and we got the shield, which is huge. So at this point, obviously, my Escavalier is kind of useless here. I don't have Mega Horn, so I just let it go down, and I bring in the Giratina here. Now, Giratina with Dragon Breath isn't the best matchup for Cresselia. However, that Acid Spray debuff is going to come through super clutch here. So Moonblast going to KO. This is still a very close matchup, even with the Acid Spray debuff. Gonna go for the Shadow Sneak here. We should be in a good position, and I guess they tried to call a bait on the Dragon Claw. Was not a bait that time. Shield up the Moonblast here, and we should be able to farm down with Dragon Breath because of that Acid Spray. So GG's to the opponent, take that game there. Now next matchup, Black Melon Lab 55. We are going to put Escavalier into Gyarados here. So Gyarados is obviously a very difficult matchup for Escavalier. My thinking at this time was that I would build up and then try to catch the Aqua Tail onto the Giratina, which I'm hoping we did here. And indeed it is an Aqua Tail, so that's a very good catch. And the Gyarados is choosing to stay in here, so I'm going to go for the Dragon Claw. At this point, Crunch, if it lands, will flip this match, but I decided to just let it go through. And even if I lose this match, I'll come in with the Articuno after. So I will show my 3 Pokemon, knowing only one of his, but it doesn't really matter. Going to take the shield advantage here, and we do get farmed down there. So not exactly what I wanted to see, because now this Gyarados has a lot of energy, of course. So I'm going to bring in the Articuno here, and I actually think I'm going to tank this move because I really don't want to burn a shield at this point. Going to save 2 shields for basically 2 sort of 70% health Pokemon at this point. We do have Ice Wind ready to debuff whatever comes in. Let's see what it is. It's a Poliwrath. Now I do have a lot of energy, so again, this could be a Hurricane, so would not be surprised to see the shield come up from the opponent here. They do shield up the Icy Wind, that's a huge break for us, and I'm going to go for another Icy Wind here. Now at this point, they're not going to shield anymore, I don't think, just staying with the Poliwrath, and now we're up 2 shields to 0. And Dynamic Punch is going to hurt. So I'm going to shield this up. Don't know what they have in the back, but it seems like it might be weak to Articuno because they're not switching out. And with a shield advantage, this is a pretty good matchup for Articuno, just going straight Icy Wind anyways. And they take that move. Now they bring in Lugia. So I can't bring in a Escavalier, obviously. I am ahead on energy, so I'm going to throw this Icy Wind here, and this is going to absolutely chunk away at the Lugia. When I saw how much damage that did, I figured my only win condition here was to actually shield up the Articuno in this situation and throw the Icy Wind. Have to get rid of this Lugia, obviously, and hope that Escavalier in the back could take care of the Poliwrath. So the Escavalier, remember, it does have energy because I did switch out on the Gyarados. So I'm going to take a move here, likely a Dynamic Punch. It's really good because it dries the energy on the Poliwrath. And then the Escavalier comes in here. Not really in Dynamic Punch range either, but we have the Drill Run ready. This is going to basically KO the Poliwrath, and we take that game. So a lot of interesting games there, a lot of fun battles. Escavalier with Acid Spray is a lot of fun to run. And Giratina with Dragon Breath, you can see it's very oppressive, but it definitely requires the right team comp to work. If you guys enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, commenting, subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.